Hey guys, John and April here
Hey.
again, and we want you to subscribe, especially because we're in full HD now.
Yes, and go ahead and like it because we're in full HD.
Exactly.
4K, big baby.
Big baby. Welcome to Just John and April, the relationship podcast, your place for life, love, and laughs, and a
Really?
place that you can actually level up your relationship
Oh.
too. In today's episode, my family doesn't like my spouse,
Ooh.
and the word of the day.
I didn't know that was the title.
You didn't know?
I knew we were talking about that,
Yeah,
but I didn't know
what
that's
the
what you were
title
going to say.
was. Yeah. What's up, babe? How you doing?
I'm great, actually.
I am too, actually.
It's been a good week, even though very busy.
It has been
But it's
one of
been
the
a good-
busiest weeks in a long time.
Yes.
But it's been a good week.
It has.
What's up with that?
I think when you're doing something that you enjoy,
That's probably what it is.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
This is like, us doing this kind of stuff. We've been doing more
Yeah.
of this kind of stuff,
Yeah. We started, this is our first week
And-
of our intimacy boot camp that we started. We've got 40 couples, basically 41,
about
something
42
like that,
couples, yeah.
that we're working with. And tonight we had our coaching call, and it, for some reason it just, I don't know, it just puts something.
It just makes me so excited.
Yeah.
This is like the feeling of loving your job.
Yes.
Even though, I guess this is my job, one of
Right.
my jobs,
Right.
but I don't
Yeah.
feel like that.
Right.
But I'm just saying,
It doesn't
like,
feel like work.
it doesn't feel like
Yeah,
work.
yeah.
It's just so much fun.
It is. It's a lot of fun.
And I love my job too.
I do too.
I love my job.
I love my other job.
But this makes me feel different.
Yeah, I agree. So we're kind of on cloud nine right
Yeah,
now.
we are.
But we're enjoying the day. And as you can see, we got a new camera and a new lens. And I got it
Can you
because I
tell?
wanted you to see my beautiful wife a little bit better.
Wow.
Because you couldn't see her as well before.
Oh my goodness. Too much pressure there.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, so so today's topic is about, what do you do? So this is what I really want to know. This is the
Okay.
question I'm really asking you today.
Mhm.
Okay, what do you do in a circumstance where there's a person that you really love? This is the person that you want to marry. This is the person you have decided. But then you find out your family doesn't really like that person. Like, your siblings don't like them. Your parents don't like them. What happens if everybody doesn't like them? I really want to know a couple of things. Number one, do you think it's possible for a relationship to work where we get married to each other and nobody in the family likes you? Number one. Number two, I want to
That
know.
sounds really bad.
It does sound bad. Number two, I want to know, do you think that a person whose family and nobody around likes that person, do you think that person should not be marrying them? Answer the first
Wow.
one first.
Okay, the first one first. You're saying, could that work?
Can it work if
work
all
if-
the people don't like him or her or whatever?
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
I think it can, but it's going to bring about a negative thing that happens, and that is that person ends up not being close to their family anymore. And I've seen that in my own family, where one person came in and, didn't like, let's say, the sister.
Okay.
And it wasn't even everybody.
Right.
Didn't like the sister.
Right.
And that was it. He cut off everybody.
Wow.
And not that he doesn't come for stuff like, if there's a funeral or a wedding,
Right.
but just doesn't really communicate like he used to.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because, his wife is now his first.
Yeah. And they're happily married,
And-
you're saying?
Maybe. I think so.
Okay,
I don't
you're
know
not even
because
sure.
he's,
Okay.
we don't see them really
Yeah,
often anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, they're still together.
Right.
So,
Yes. Yes. You're just not sure if they like each other.
Exactly.
Yeah. That part you can't.
My whole point is they're still together.
Right.
But look what had to happen.
Right.
He's not a part of his family like he used to be.
Right. And
You know?
that happens a lot, but
Yeah,
I
because
don't know
she
that that's the
doesn't
worst
want to
thing in
go
the world.
around these people that doesn't like her.
Mhm,
You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
So then she just says, I'm not, I don't want to go. And he's going to say, okay, because that's my wife and I want her to be happy. And I want,
So then that begs another question, I guess, before you answer the second question.
yeah. Well, what do you think?
Well, I think it's possible for a relationship to work if your immediate family or your family members don't like your spouse. But I don't think it's possible if it's a certain dislike. Okay, so like
Expound.
if they don't like your spouse, as in like they're jealous because now that your spouse is here, you don't spend as much time with us or whatever. If it's like a dislike that maybe isn't rooted in any kind of fact, it's just about emotion.
Yeah.
Then I think that's something you can get over. I actually think
That's
that
true. I was
people's
gonna say
emotions
that.
over
That's true.
time change.
That's true.
They start accepting the fact that you married this person and all
Right.
that stuff, and it's fine.
It's true.
But if your family is trustworthy and are people that you love and respect and all that kind of stuff, and they have reservations about your person that are rooted in some kind of fact, then I think they may be onto something. and maybe you will end up being miserable in your relationship because they know you and they know that this is something that you're going to not like or whatever. Maybe you're too
Right.
close to it to be able to see it.
Well, because of what I've seen in just family and friends
Yes.
over the years,
Yes.
I always said to myself, even in high school,
Mm-hmm.
that if my family does not like who I'm, dating or whatever, there's no chance that I'm marrying them.
So that was always my thing too,
Yeah.
April. But part of the reason is because, I really trust
I was
my
just about
family's
to say, I
judgment.
trust them that they're not going to just
Yeah.
do that just because they don't want me to be happy or because they want me to come live back at home
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I really believe that my family's not going to lead me astray.
Correct.
Now, there are some families that they don't trust that the family is actually on their side.
Yeah.
But I've also seen it where the family is on their side. They marry him anyway, and it is a bad marriage.
Correct.
So-
So Claire, my little sister.
Yes.
Okay. Your sister too.
Yes.
Claire was always my barometer. And I think it was for Paul too.
Yeah.
Both of us, I think both did the same thing. If we let Claire meet our girlfriend and Claire didn't like them, it probably wasn't going to work out.
Yeah.
And it never did
Right, no, it didn't.
until
Yeah.
she met you. And it worked right away. You know what I'm saying? So there's so there's a thing, for me at least, from my perspective, my sort of perception of things based on the way my parents think, my brother and sister, they're not sort of petty, unreasonable kind of people.
Right.
So for
That-
me,
and again,
that made a
yeah,
difference,
when
right?
you know the people that, you're referring to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If your family isn't crazy, I don't know how to put it any other way, right?
Right.
If
Or
they're
you
not
can't
crazy,
trust their judgment.
yes.
Because you might have a parent who didn't raise you right, who left you home alone and never, you just raised yourself.
Right.
Are you really going to listen to them when they say,
Correct.
Or a parent who was there sometimes
Right.
or that left you
Right.
and only came and spent time with you here and there, so you don't really know them very
Right,
well.
right.
That's totally different.
So I definitely think it makes a difference, right? The
I think
state
so.
of your relationship with your family before this definitely makes a difference. So here's what I'm really saying. I'm saying if your family doesn't like your spouse and the reasons are emotional and not really rational, or maybe your family's petty or something like that, I think you can have a perfectly reasonable and healthy relationship with your significant other. It may be difficult to be around your family.
But I was going to say, but there
that's
will
what it
be
is.
strife
Oh yeah,
when it comes
Yeah.
to, and then when you have a child,
yeah.
that's when it turns into a different level.
You're right.
And then,
but I still think
yeah.
it's possible to have a good relationship, a successful, happy marriage with somebody that your family doesn't like, if in fact what they don't like is not rooted in any kind of reason. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I want to ask you that when you're dating
Yeah.
and you are in the clouds, are you really able to make that judgment?
Which is why I think the other thing comes into it. So when I'm looking at my family, this is why I always try to let my family kind of give me their perspective on my girlfriend at the time, wasn't my
Right.
spouse.
Right.
Is because I wanted to make sure that I kept some objectivity. For me, if I was in the early stages and I didn't know them and the person was pretty or they were nice or whatever, there was something about them that I was focusing on, then it was very possible for me to miss out on whatever it is that they'd be able to see more easily because they're not so close to it. So I would actually depend on them
I see.
to help me to see things in a way that was clearer because I didn't have the ability to. So I'm saying, for me, if a person is in that situation where they've always trusted their family members and now all of a sudden their family members are saying they don't like the person that they're with and they give you actual reasons, I'm saying you have to listen to that, and it's possible and probable
Yeah.
you will not be happy in that relationship.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would say that too.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
You have to listen to, at least take it into consideration and then start looking for those red flags or whatever it is
right.
that they presented to you.
Right. So that was really my second question, right, that we're answering right now. My second question was, do you think that a person who's in a relationship with somebody and nobody in their family likes them, do you think that person should go through it in marrying them? That's really my question.
If you trust your family, I don't think so.
Right. That's what I would say too.
I would say you need to slow down and look at some things first.
I would also say that slowing things down should not hurt anything if this is real.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
This is a real relationship. Right. This is real love.
You
should not have to worry about it. Slowing down is fine.
That's
it
right.
It shouldn't be a big deal.
No.
But if you're like, I need to hurry up and make this happen, I'm not listening to nobody, those are all red flags that maybe you're trying to push past something just so you can have this relationship with this person.
Okay, so
that might not be good.
Let me say this though. Okay, so let's say a mother.
Yes.
A mother does not like the daughter. I mean, the girlfriend, right?
Okay. Yes.
And he marries her anyway. Okay. But there's always strife between the mother and the wife. But you love your mama.
Yes.
So you're not dumping her like my family member did today. Family.
Okay.
You're not going to dump her, but you're going to, you want to take up for your mama, but you also want to protect your wife. And so here you are as the husband in the middle of these two strong women.
Yeah.
Is that really happiness for you? Even though they might not see each other a whole lot.
Right.
There's phone calls.
Right.
There's, talking about behind their back, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying behind their back, but you know what I mean?
Right.
It is,
Yeah,
not
it
talking
is.
to them about it.
Exactly.
You're talking to your spouse about it and you're complaining.
Yes.
And so it's like, I mean, I've even seen it where, there's social media posts about, kind of underline comments.
Like subtweeting. Where a person doesn't really know you're talking about them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then they read it and they're like, she talking about me.
Right.
It's like, is that really going to be good? And sometimes we say because of distance, because you're far away, but that's not always the case.
True. So there are a couple ways of handling that. So first of all, I would say...
I want to hear this. How do you handle that?
I would say that is problematic, and that could be something that sort of haunts you throughout your entire relationship, which isn't ideal.
No, and it can bring serious conflict between you and your spouse.
Definitely.
Because I'm going to want you to handle it a certain way.
Yes.
And then you don't because you love your mama.
Correct. But let me say that this is more normal than obviously we know it's normal.
Yeah.
This is more normal than people think.
Yeah.
The norm is that when you marry someone, there's going to be somebody in their family that probably is not going to get along 100% with you. That might be something that sticks with your relationship for a while. So the first thing for that husband in that situation, he has to pick a side. He cannot be neutral.
Well, what side should he pick?
His wife's. That's it. Bottom line.
So what if she says, I don't want to go?
Let me tell you why he picks his wife's side. Because he's not living with his mother, first of all.
Okay.
Secondly, his mother can't stop being his mother. There's nothing she can do.
No,
she has to be his mother.
That's true.
Now, she might not talk to him the same way. Well, okay, that's fine. But especially when you have kids, your mama going to talk to you again.
Okay, so
you have to worry about that.
What if she does not want to, let's say, have the mother stay with them when she comes for, Christmas?
Yeah.
Or
or
she doesn't want to go to her house for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And he does.
Right.
Because he loves his mama.
Yeah. Pick your wife.
Don't go?
Maybe.
What?
I'm saying... Okay, so first of all...
let's say it's my daddy. Let's say it was my dad.
Right.
And which they are... That my dad is his father.
Right.
So
this
is just an example.
I have two dads and two moms.
Exactly.
Basically. Yeah.
So me too. So let's just say, though, that my dad was acting whatever towards you.
Yes.
And I was in the middle. And I was in the middle, trying to...
Right.
You would say that we should not go to the family function?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Not necessarily. First of all, I'm a man. Okay, I'm not a boy. I should be able to man up and handle
weekend.
Whatever the period of time is.
Right.
Okay, so that's number one.
Yeah, that's true.
That's not me siding. Okay, me siding with my wife does not mean we just choose not to go for Thanksgiving.
Right.
We may come up with some compromises to make it easier.
Yes.
For instance,
when we
stay at a hotel.
Yeah, that's
we do
true.
not go and stay with your parent because it's too much.
Okay.
So we can take them at an hour at a time or something like that, and that's fine. We go to Thanksgiving for Thanksgiving dinner. What's that going to take? An hour and a half, 2 hours? We watch the game, whatever.
Or when we go, you are going to make sure that I'm protected.
Right.
You're going to protect me.
Correct.
You're going to make sure that I'm not left alone with somebody.
Don't let your dad corner me and when he makes a joke about me in front of everybody, don't just let that slide.
Exactly.
That's me siding with my wife.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So you don't have to say, in order to side with my wife, that means I cut off my mom altogether.
Exactly.
But what it does mean is you might put in some ground rules and some boundaries to say this is how we're gonna do this. You got 2 or 3 times a year where you have to see each other. Christmas, Thanksgiving, whatever, and it doesn't have to be the same every year.
Right.
You got 2 sides of the family, so maybe we don't go to your family this year for Christmas. We go to mine.
Okay. Okay.
Whatever it is.
So what about when we have a kid?
Yeah.
And my relationship with your mom is bad.
Yeah.
And I don't trust her to take care of my kid because I know she don't really like me.
Right.
So if she doesn't like me, is she really going to treat, even though that's her grandchild,
right.
I really don't trust her because I don't like the way she speaks to me she says
yeah.
some underlying things.
Yeah.
And I don't want my child to pick up on those kinds of habits.
Side with your wife. Now.
So side with your wife?
Again.
I mean, yes,
April,
I agree, but I mean.
Siding with your wife here is not all or nothing like I'm saying. I'm saying
I'm
there
just
are
thinking about
compromises.
that. Like, woo, that means your mama cannot see her grandbaby.
That doesn't mean that.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that because my personal opinion is if she has the word mother in her name, you should not be withholding the kids from her.
I agree.
Her name is grandmother.
Unless she's a drug addict or some kind of
unless there's
abuser.
some danger. Yeah, there might be some dangerous situation.
Right,
but
right.
here's what I would say, April. Here's what I would say. Maybe I don't trust our kids with your mother, so we don't start off with them spending the night with her. But we all go to the house,
right.
and she gets to play with the kids for hours while we're in the house
we're
too.
There, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's me siding with you still.
Yeah.
I'm saying because you're the one. I guess I just made the analogy different, but y'all know what I'm talking about, right? You see what I'm saying?
Of course,
My point is, I don't have to cut off my mom altogether to side with my wife. But there are ways in which we can say, babe, I agree with you. I'm on your side. You are right. We are not leaving the kids to spend the night with mom until you're ready because you still don't trust her.
Right.
And then we say, what will it take for you to be able to trust mom? What are the things that she needs to demonstrate and do? And then maybe I have a conversation with my own mom and say, Mom, listen, April and I talked about this. Here's the thing. We decided right now we're not really comfortable.
You said something that was key.
April and I talked about this?
Yes, but you said we
We.
decided.
That's the point. I'm not going in saying
key.
April's making me do no.
Exactly.
April and I had our own conversation about what we want to do, and what we decided is we're really not comfortable with our kids spending the night at anybody's house right now.
Right.
We're really not doing that yet.
Right.
And honestly, we're just at a point where we just don't trust our kids to anybody overnight. I know you wouldn't do anything or you wouldn't intend to, but you know what? That's what we decided to do right now. That's me siding with my wife.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
So,
and that may have to happen if everybody in the family don't like you.
That's true. That's true. But here's my last question.
Okay.
This is a big one.
Okay.
What if I am, or the wife that we're talking about,
okay,
is selfish in a way, and I wouldn't say selfish, but I guess that could seem a little selfish that you don't want your husband to see his mama or us together, whatever.
Yes.
But, like not wanting to see her at all. I don't want to even be around her because when I'm around her, I feel less than.
Yes.
So I don't really want to be around her at all.
Yes.
And I'm mad at you for even saying that we should come up with some plans to go.
You'll get over it because I'm siding with you. But
I'll get over it. Are you sure about that? We're talking about a woman. We're talking about okay.
I'm siding with you, but you are being unreasonable. So what I'm going to do is...
Well, how would you express that?
That's what I'm going to say.
Okay.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to totally and completely be in your team. We're going to rah-rah together. We're going to do all the things to make you feel like I accept your feelings on this issue.
Yes.
All of that. Maybe the next day or the day after that, some other time, another time when it's appropriate, I'm going to have a discussion with you about what we talked about and say, you know what, I was thinking about it and I was thinking, you know what, that might be a little bit too far. I see what you're saying and I agree. You know I'm with you 100%. But honestly, babe, she does have the word mother in her name. Come on.
That would make, I'm going to just tell you, that would make the one who doesn't like the mama upset.
Maybe, but you'll get over it because you are being unreasonable.
I
would try to find a way to help.
Listen, I agree with you. But
I would try to find a way to help you to see that what you're feeling is purely emotional and does not come from a logical place.
And what I'm saying is the way that you just said it, that would not work.
You're right. It wouldn't work right away, but I would find a way to tell you.
You would have to say it in a way that isn't you're unreasonable. This is what's going to happen. Bam.
You're right. I wouldn't say it like that.
You see what I'm saying?
You're right.
I see where you're going, but
I'm not saying I would say to you, you'll get over it. I'm saying I know you will get over it because you are being unreasonable.
You act like I'm doing this for real. This is not me.
You're not.
Okay.
But I actually wouldn't say it to you that way, and I wouldn't tell you that. I would try to find a creative way to be able to say this to you so that you understand it from a different perspective. Maybe I would say, imagine when you have a child. We had a child. Imagine when Beth grows up and she has her own kids. You know, how would you feel if or,
she kept them
you know,
from
what
you,
if her husband said, you know,
Right.
we don't want her around here? How would that make you feel? That kind of thing.
Right.
And maybe try to put you in touch with that so that you could understand it, and then say, babe, I honestly, I'm with you. They're not spending the night, but I think we should let her see the baby. Let's do this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think sometimes people use kids as weapons.
They do.
Sometimes because you are not showing that you like me, I'm going to withhold my child and stuff like that.
Right.
I think
because
that's wrong.
I know you want to see this child. So
I think
I'm
that's
going
wrong,
to have
and
this control over
that's
you.
exactly right.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
wrong.
I
and
think it's wrong.
I think it's wrong for the kid. I think the kid gets to miss out on something now because of your selfishness. And I think you're tied up in something now that's crazy. And what's going to happen is your kid's going to grow up to resent you.
That's true.
So here's my point. If you are in a situation where where your spouse doesn't like, or your family doesn't like your spouse, I think it could create all kinds of stuff. But the reality is you have to keep your word of the day. The word is...
What is the word?
Perspective.
Oh, yeah. Perspective.
You have to keep your perspective.
A particular attitude toward or way of regarding something.
Mm-hmm.
A point of view.
Yes. Perspective. Here's the thing. Perspective changes over time. So you have parents that don't like your spouse, something like that. If what they don't like is something based on emotion, what I mean is they're taking my son away, they're taking my daughter away, all that kind of stuff. That perspective will change over time.
It should.
It should change over time. It might change over time if there's no real reason for it.
I was gonna say the only way that can really change over time is if the children who they don't like, the wife and the husband, you know, together, if they are still kind and respectful, you know, honoring the parents, even though they know how the parents feel,
not exacerbating the problem by acting out,
by withholding
and trying
or when they come, they don't, you know, or they don't come at all.
Right.
You know, I think those are things that will keep it going.
Yes, I
but
agree.
if the husband makes sure that he presents his wife in good light all the time, that can that soften the mother's heart.
Agreed.
You
and
know,
it might change their perspective.
And it might change their perspective.
But
I think it will.
But on the other hand, what I want to say is sometimes your family has a perspective on things that you don't have. And if you're blinded by lust, well, I should say love in quotes, but it's really lust. If you're blinded by that, then sometimes you can't see things they can see. So this perspective is two-edged. I'm saying on the one hand, if you have people that are being irrational, their perspective might change. Go ahead and marry that person. But on the other hand, if these are people that you trust and you've never doubted them before, they may have a perspective on something that you don't see. Do not marry that person.
Or wait and see.
Wait and see. Exactly
and see.
Right.
You
but
know,
in my opinion, it's all about perspective.
But I would say this too. Parents, I don't think there ever should be a situation where you just don't like somebody and don't give them a chance.
Right.
You know
Always
what I mean?
give 'em a chance,
or because the person took your son or whatever, you know, and they haven't shown any signs of being a bad person or wrong or somebody who's going to treat your child in a negative way.
Right.
You know, you gotta be balanced.
Gotta
there.
be
You
reasonable
gotta be
with that.
reasonable.
Yeah.
So
anyway, the point is have good perspective.
Yes.
And if you don't have good perspective, lean on the people that you trust to give you good perspective.
Yeah.
And it will save you from a world of hurt.
Let me tell you, true that.
You shouldn't know that by experience. What do you mean? Let me tell you.
I have seen that.
I just want to make sure you wasn't, dealing with that now.
I'm saying my parents love you.
I know.
Yes.
Mine love you
and that
too.
let me know. That was a sign.
That was a sign for me too.
When my parents were like, he is the one,
Exactly.
April. He is. I was able to go in without any doubt.
Yep.
You know, because if your parents are telling you, that'll make you have doubt. If you trust your parents.
True.
And if you look up to them
Exactly.
and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Anyway, hope that helps y'all. And if you're in a situation where your family hates your spouse, we're praying for you guys. All right, y'all.
All right.
See you next week.
Bye.